Good morning, Valley Middle School of STEM. Welcome to the second rotation of STEMsday activities in the On the Moon series. Today's activity is called On Target. It's brought to you by the Society of American Military Engineers. Before we take a look at today's challenge, let's look at one of the challenges facing NASA in their hopes of developing a lunar community. They're going to need, in the words of Adam Sandler, some high-quality H2O. Yes, water boy, they're going to need to find water for the moon for survival of not only plants, but any inhabitants of the moon or lunar communities. And it's not going to be as easy as finding a lake up there. One of NASA's plans is to explore the deep craters that are on the poles of the moon. Their idea is that they could send the Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite to drop a projectile down into the craters. That would blow up, creating a plume of dust and lunar particles 6 miles high that then could be analyzed by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, or the LRO. It could also be looked at by the Hubble telescope as well as other instruments here on Earth to see if there's any presence of water. Well, today your challenge is going to be to simulate this mission. You need to design and build a zipline system that will accurately drop a marble on target, or that marble can be thought of as the lacrosse projectile. Here are the materials you'll be working with today. You will have a target, note cards, scissors, tape, a cup or gondola. You will have some fishing line, a marble, a ruler, paperclip, and straw. Now the parameters and the constraints are a little bit more complicated this time, so I want to take some time to talk them through. First of all, you can only use the materials provided. Second of all, that gondola or the cup must travel down the zip line under its own power. In other words, once you let go up here, it's got to slide down by itself. Next, you may not touch the cup once it begins its descent, all right? And that means that the marble or the projectile, it needs to be dropped remotely. Now, how the heck are you going to do that without touching the actual gondola? Well, here are a couple of designs that I found. Good scientists will often look at the research of others before they start their research, and the same with engineers. Well, this design here has the marble sitting on a shelf and then a string that a student could pull once it reached the designated area, or possibly tie this onto something else, onto the chair, so that it could remotely trigger that. Next, this design here, similar, but has the marble coming out the bottom, kind of like a gumball machine. I think there are other ways too. Actually, this comes out the side. I was thinking you could develop one where it drops out the bottom somehow. Anyway, I'll let you get to think about that with your team. As you work through the morning, you will have about 25 minutes in that test, design, and evaluate stage. We'll clean up at 8:15. We're going to wrap up at 8:20. Homeroom will end as usual at 8:25. Working through the system of building, evaluating, redesigning, reflect upon these questions. How will you modify the cup so it can carry a marble down the zip line and also drop it onto the target? How will you remotely release the marble from the cup? When do you need to launch that marble so it actually hits the target? Remember, it's going to be a moving gondola. Next, early finishers. Can you modify your system so that the cup and the gondola and the marble are also launched remotely? Right now, we're letting you hold on to the cup and letting it go at the top of the zip line. Can you figure out a way to launch that remotely as well? You can also observe and discuss the trajectory of the marble once it's launched. Cleanup's going to be really straightforward here today. Folks, we just need you to take the circled items here, the ruler, the marble, the scissors and tape, and put those back in the basin or in the plastic bag. Take everything else and throw it away. That'll help with cleanup a ton. We're going to end today with just a little bit of VMSS staff trivia. Mr. Hawkinson, one of our new additions to the VMSS staff, he teaches EL. He was an extra in one of the 3 movies above. If you don't recognize Mr. Hawkinson and his school picture here, maybe this view would help make him a little more recognizable. Possibly you've seen him on a post office wall. Anyway, which of these 3 movies was it? Go ahead and take a second to talk with your class. Terminator 2? I don't think so. No, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sandlot? He does look. There is a strong resemblance between him and Squints Palledorous, but no, it wasn't Sandlot. I guess that makes it High School Musical 3. And yes, he was an extra in High School Musical 3, and he wasn't very willing to give me one of the pictures from his cast experience there, so I had to do a little Photoshop work there. But anyway, and if you like fairy tales, here's one. According to Mr. Hawkinson, he was actually cast as Troy Bolton, but Vanessa Hutchinson was having too hard of a time concentrating. He was too distracted by his good looks, so they had to find someone less handsome. And if you buy that fairy tale, I got a bridge in San Francisco for sale, too, I'd like to talk to you about. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a great STEMs day.